We must act.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Starfyre Gaming. I am Sir Joseph and this is Warhammer 40k Rouge Trader. We are on this derelict ship that these people are gutting. We talked to Retta and there's some other people here. There's not much in here. We bought some goods. Civil machinery and tools look a little worn but well maintained. For crude craftsmanship, you can make out one of the depictions of the Emperor commonly seen in the Cronus Expanse. Pure apparatus gurgles and emits a strong smell of alcohol, probably not of the industrial.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Small selection of valuable finds carefully sorted and packed. Yeah, all right. I guess that's it. Found a lot of goods, but that was it. All right, we're out of here. All right, let's check that one. We checked that one. Got an unidentified void ship and a planet. Let's go to the void ship. A Vox notification from the Augur crew drowns out the usual noise on the bridge. An Imperial vessel, the Dark Piercer, and its escort ships are headed your way. Your archives make no mention of either the ship or its owner. As you consider your course of action, the ship's captain contacts you first, introducing himself as the Pilgrim. The captain greets the Rouge Trader courteously and offers to purchase any information you might have on crystal phlogiston deposits. Ask the Pilgrim why he needs it. The captain's coarse laughter echoes forth from the Vox. Phlogiston is a part and parcel of many different aspects of life in the Imperium. How exactly his customers are going to use it is none of his concern. All that the Pilgrim promises is the phlogiston will be used for the good of humanity. Pascal becomes visibly animated at the mention of phlogiston. Though indifferent to the prospect of a deal with a shady individual, the Magus nonetheless recommends you find out more about phlogiston deposits. Your own protectorate would benefit from the knowledge. Sister Argenta sincerely believes the words of the Pilgrim. A cowl or a golden aquila are not prerequisites for being his true servant. If the captain sincerely wants to help the Imperium, perhaps by his own methods, there is nothing questionable about extending a helping hand. Alright, let's propose a deal. Valuable information in exchange for phlogiston. The captain of the Dark Piercer is in the best of spirits. It's gratitude for your invaluable help. He sends you a small box containing ancient maps and documents. They appear to speak of a certain imperial world lost many centuries ago. Then, in a somewhat conspiratorial tone, the Pilgrim relates a story about a standoff between two Xenos fleets, which he was told by an acquaintance. The person in question, sadly enough, died at the hands of the Inquisition before they were able to pass on the coordinates of the crash site of one of the Xenos ships. However, the pilgrim knows for a fact that the vessel met its demise on an ocean world. Alright, bid farewell. More plasteel, which we are making 21 plasteel right now. We do not need more plasteel. Got rumors galore out here. Oh, goes to us. I don't even think we saw this one before, but still no access to here. Save the Aldari survivors. This is an orange. That's going to cost us 2 points to get here, of which we have 7. All right, let's burn the 2 to go here. Space battle. A violent battle is unfolding before the Rogue Trader's eyes. Patrol ships from the Corda fleet are tearing apart 2 small Aldari vessels. Once they are finished with them, the Void ships give chase after a third, already damaged vessel, clearly with the intention of destroying it as well. Seeing the last ship's impending death, Yurliet calls out to the Lord Captain, her voice trembling slightly. Only the Rogue Trader's intervention can save her kin. Well, we said we were gonna help her, so send a message to Insidia Corda's fleet, ordering them to stop the battle. The Voxmaster relays the Lord Captain's demand to stop the battle and soon returns with the reply. According to the Corda ships, this group of Xenos are malicious criminals. They are guilty of raiding this system's planets and robbing merchant vessels. Incendia Corda's Void ships are intent on performing their duty before the Emperor and exterminating the Xenos. Yurliet sullenly watches the unfolding chase through the stained glass windows of the captain's bridge. She grimly concedes that no crime should go unpunished, except her kin were flying transport ships. It would have been impossible for them to rob a ship, let alone launch a planetary raid. Vessels such as theirs simply lack the firepower to do so. The Maquis are lying. Let's analyze the intact ships. Despite the presence of some weaponry, the Xenos ships are more likely meant for transporting cargo or the Xenos themselves rather than direct combat. Well, we're going to use the commerce. Ask Chorda's patrol for proof of the Xenos transgressions. The patrol captain reluctantly admits there is no positive conclusive proof. This system is sometimes a target of pirate raids. However, this changes nothing, for his servants have no mercy for the enemies of humanity. Command Chorda's warship cease fire immediately and retreat. Failed. The Chorda Dynasty Patrol will defend the Protectorate's borders, be it from invading Xenos or from the threat of another rogue trader. Prepare for battle. Well, 84% chance and we failed. I guess that's the other half of that coin when we passed all those 35% warp tests. And of course I forgot to get water.
The vessel's bulkheads will hold strong.
Well, these are the bad guy ships, evidently the bad guy ships. The Chorda ships. 2 frigates. Alright. side slip over to here. Some torpedoes.
Do not pass up this chance to strike our enemies.
For the glory of the Imperium!
Quick turn here so those torpedoes can't hit us.
I am amazed that we prevailed.
Alright, we got 62 scrap. And some other stuff. By the Lord Captain's order, Chorda's ships have been annihilated. Meanwhile, the wounded Xeno ship is rapidly distancing itself from the recent battlefield, attempting to hide in the shadow of the nearest world. Every attempt to contact it is met with frustration, and the Boxmaster reports that the vessel is in deplorable condition. Who knows how much more xenotechnology can endure before the irreparable happens. The Eldari are too scared and resentful of the Mon-Ki for the recent deaths of their kin to answer incoming call. Despite this, Yurliet is certain that she can convince them to cooperate with the Elentach if she is allowed to speak with them. Only a 50% chance. Ooh. Let her speak. Succeeded. 2 watches pass, and the Xenos finally decide to answer Yurliet's pleas concerning the Elentach's assistance. Guardedly asking how exactly the Mon-Ki can help their vessel, the Eldari note that the humans' primitive technologies are incapable of healing the Eldari vessel's wounds. The sudden benevolence of one human is equally incapable of bringing back those who perished in the recent engagement. Let's grant them some provisions and medicines. The Xenos half-heartedly thank the Rogue Trader and turn their ship towards the distant stars and inevitable death in the void. No words are exchanged on the bridge, but everyone understands that the wounded ship will never make it there. A few Terran days later, a blue flash at the edge of the system confirms the vessel's unfortunate fate. And only the thin figure of the Aldari Strand stands motionless against the backdrop of the intricate stained glass windows, mourning the fallen in solemn silence. Once the pain in Yurliette's soul is numb, she turns to the Lord Captain and nods, a short gesture of gratitude for their attempt to save those who could barely be saved, or hardly be saved. Sometime after, Yurliette comes to the Lord Captain, haggard, still holding on to hope. She says that she came aboard the Maquis vessel and set off into the darkness in the hopes of finding her kin, but found only corpses slaughtered by humanity's hatred. And though she and the Lord Captain were not always in agreement, the Elentok still tried to lend a helping hand. In gratitude, as she promised, she shares the coordinates of her kin's cache. So we've got unknown ships. I don't think those were there earlier. This might be in retaliation for the battle we just did. A Hulk. A couple of planets. Let's go to this one first. Though they don't look like they're Imperial ships. They might be Drukari ships. The planet is devoid of even the most primitive forms of life. However, the crew has made quite a strange discovery. A mirror, lying right in the center of a huge crater. A completely ordinary mirror in a frame, by all appearances, pristine condition. Nah, I ain't taking that on board the ship. Destroy it. The crew blasts the crater, raising a dust of cloud that blocks the auger's array, confirming the mirror's destruction is impossible for a time being, but it could not have survived such a powerful explosion. Definitely not. Which means it probably did. Let's go to the Hulk. Yeah, there's no way that mirror was coming on board this ship. A vigilant member of the Auger crew has detected a small Xenos vessel drifting through the void. The ship is unpowered and shows no sign of being crewed. Send a boarding shuttle. The squad boarded the vessel without issue. Corrosion has laid waste to the ship's systems, which led to the death of the entire crew. The interior is full of Eldari corpses. No weapons were found on board, and the dead Xenos, judging by their clothing, were not part of any warrior caste, merely the crew of the now defunct ship. The Xenos Yurliette claims to have recognized the symbols on the dead Eldari's clothes. They were civilian refugees from Craft World Kurdrak, which was her Craft World, if I remember correctly. Nothing there. Look, more plasteel. Alright, let's check out these ships.
The stars will judge you.
Alert, the Drukari have blocked some of the flagship's posts with unknown Xenos power. Its crew will gain control of these posts in several rounds. Destroyer and a frigate. There's the frigate. Alright, let's launch some torpedoes. I'm hoping we'll be able to turn. Yeah, okay, we will. Good shooting, Tex. Good job. We need to give our gunners a raise. They're not near as good as shots. They didn't move? Well, they didn't move. We're going to blast it, so we're going to hit. You're going to get torpedoed.
Proceed accordingly.
You'll come about. Just because we can. Leech torpedoes.
The Emperor commands. We act.
Leveled up! 91 scrap. Our ship is better. Our ship is better. Didn't take any damage, so that's good. Didn't really get much of a chance to determine the torpedoes thing. Same with the engine. I'm still not 100% sure I like the engine. Alright, so we get another big power, it looks like. Most favorable tactical positions, while the flagship such positions. Evasion is increased by 35%, so that's nice. Till the end of the combat, the flagship speed is increased by 2, its maneuverability is increased by 1, bonus damage dealt by the ram is increased. Okay. At the end of each turn, the most damage restores 50. Well, that's pretty nice. Boarding parties, all hands on deck, just launching torpedo after torpedo after torpedo. Arc augury gives us extra range. Let's take the reinforced shields. And then that, because we might need that. I like it. $430 scrap to level up our hull again. Now we only have 435 scrap, so that's not going to happen. Alright, I think we explored everything. Yep. Yellow one. That's Kiava Gamma. I'm hoping we'll get a yellow from this one. We're running low on our chart thing, which means we might have to start doing yellows. Seven Promethium. We have 12. We don't really need that. No, it's a nice Promethium cache. Hive City. The Santil's Pride hives are oozing noxious haze veined with sulfurous streaks. The promethium fumes from the gigantic distilling cauldrons located beyond the temperature shields. Vast, endless deadlands littered with spots of promethium stations and refineries separate the colossi of rockcrete and adamantine with its crown of gargantuan spires. The heat of the system star has turned the world into a boiling but lucrative gland within the body of the House Corda Protectorate. It's hard to tell what's more impressive, the grotesque grandeur of this place or its extreme toxicity. Adamantine, we've got 5. Do we need more adamantine? I think we need weapons. That's what we need is weapons, not adamantine. Yep, so we got a yellow there. Oh, no path to these. We haven't been here, so there might be a path to these guys through here, or we'll find another way through. But we can go to here. Let's do a quick check. Genetic Mercy is done. So I went to Adeptus Arbites. We need that third weapon. Decree on Diligence lowers complacency, builds efficiency, gives provisions. Costs us 3 people. Doctrine of Rationality costs 2 people and gains 3 efficiency. I'm okay with that. Warp Guides is done, so extra security. Alright, Underground Workers costs 1 mechanism, gives 3 plasteel. We don't need the plasteel. Dreamless costs 1 chemical. What do we got for chemicals? We got 11 chemicals. Yeah, 1 chemical for 2 efficiency. Lord Captain, according to telemetry, we are in the system of Kiava Gamma, the main industrial world of the Von Valencius dynasty. However, our astropaths report that attempts to contact Governor Gaprak have been unsuccessful because they're in the middle of a chaos thing. But wait, the Voxmaster is silent for a few seconds. Lord Captain, a new report. Kiava Gamma is sending a request to exchange data. Shall we accept it? Reply with our own request. As you command, Lord Captain. The Voxmaster switches to a nearby comm channel to relay your instructions to the crew. For several minutes, nothing happens. Lord Captain, reporting. The manufacturer is ignoring all our requests and continues to send its own. The longer we do not accept their messages, the stronger and more persistent the incoming signals become. I've never seen anything like it. Suddenly, a deafening screech erupts from the bridge's comm system. You hear violent tirades of garbled Benhiric code, like the low chuckles of machinery. Lord Captain! Interference detected in the compartment's Vox systems. Looks like the bridge is cut off from the rest of the Void ship. Start of picked recording. The Void ship's bridge. Sounds of working cogitators and officers' footsteps. The everyday scene is interrupted by an ear-splitting beeping sound, followed by lumens going out. In the dim glow of candles and emergency lights, one of the officers in frame cries out. Another falls to their knees, clutching their heads. Over the beeping of Voxes, shouts can just barely be heard. What's going on? The doors are locked. We've all lost all contact with compartments. One of the bridge officers turns to the throne. Lord Captain, the Vox stations are malfunctioning and overloading the system. None of our outgoing transmissions are getting through. The incoming ones that do make it are distorted beyond interpretation. Lord Captain gives the order to... Continue sending orders from the bridge and request status updates from the other compartments. The officer salutes and hurries over to the bridge Vox systems, to the Voxmaster, who is leaning over her station. Moments later, a cry of surprise. Lord Captain, our transmissions are being distorted as we speak. Depressurize the lower bays. Execute at depths of the machine cult. Disable the life support systems. If even one command gets out, Ignatius gives the order to... Stop the transmission process at any cost. The Voxmaster nods curtly and connects the tangles of cables coming from the back of her head to the main Vox stations. Spirit of the ship, I beseech thee, shield us from this peril and allow not the heretical signals to pass. Vigdis enters, one command after another. The station groans, shrieks, and sparks under her fingers. And a shock passes through the wires. Blood drips onto the console panel, and Vigdis lets out a grinding cry, but does not relent. A few moments later, she crumples. The signals have been blocked. Then she falls unconscious. Scrap code. The voice belongs to the on-deck engine seer who has turned to the Lord Captain from his station. We have been attacked with scrap code, a tech heresy designed to corrupt machines. The transmission received from the planet was infected with this taint, and it is now running through the ship's veins. Omnicide preserve us. The Void-born officer appears before the Lord Captain once more. Whatever it is that's attacking us, we have a backup procedure that can circumvent the Vox barrier. In the atrium, leading to the bridge, there is a terminal for an isolated system that might still be unaffected. A loud pop pipes over the officers' heads. or the pipes over the officers' heads pop, or burst, my goodness. And the hot air flings the Voidborn away from the Lord Captain, his body slamming straight through a cogitator panel. The picked frame spins uncontrollably. The servo skull was jolted by the gust. The picture recorder fogs over, the Vox picking up the crackling of electricity and a death cry. "Gas on the bridge!" a junior attendant shouts and instantly doubles over, inhaling the poisoned air. The Rouge Trader gives the order to evacuate immediately. Rouge Trader personally oversees the evacuation. "Bring the plasma cutters! Get the wounded to the exit!" The officers repeat his orders. Then the servo skulls, following the Rouge Trader, reaches the door. They fall to the plasma cutters and crumble outward. The Rouge Trader is the last to leave the bridge. Leaning on a support beam, the Rouge Trader takes several deep breaths, trying to flush his lungs with air. Then he straightens, smooths his uniform, and heads towards the goal known only to him. The servo skull follows. The atrium is in a state of panic. Silhouettes skitter about the dark hall, illuminated only by the flickering of emergency lumens. Curt orders and someone's feverish words of prayer can be heard. Having lost all communication, the beheaded ship is writhing in agony. It takes a while for the Lord Captain to find the cogitator mentioned by the fallen officer. The panel of the isolated terminal is riddled with cracks and bloodstains, and on the floor by the terminal, a tech priest is lying in a heap with his head smashed and technical liquids mixed with blood oozing out of his pores. The captain decides to take his chances restoring the terminal. The Rouge Trader rips the power key off the tech priest's mechadendrite and opens the cover on the terminal. Sparks fly into his face, but he is confident in his manipulation of the tangled wires and clanging levers. After replacing the cover and ensuring that the system is restored, the Lord Captain brings up the required data on the screens. Currently, the most frightening situation on the ship is in the arsenal. Some of the distorted commands, despite the bridge's best efforts, still made it to the compartment, and the lower-ranking technobats complied by raising the temperature inside the ordnance depot. The heat is about to hit critical levels, and the shells are going to explode, blowing the arsenal and the neighboring compartments to smithereens. Lord Captain knows where help is needed most. He decides to well, see, if we go ourselves, we leave the one main communication area that we have. But we might have a better chance of dealing with it ourselves. We're going to send officers to the compartment where the situation is critical. Rouge Trader contacts several officers via the Vox terminal and orders them to deal with the most critical situations on the ship at once. Turn to the bridge. Lord Captain, the Vox Master's voice is quivering with exhaustion. The situation has been brought under control, more or less. It will take some time to eliminate the consequences of the attack completely, but the vessel is capable of motion. We may even be able to conduct a warp jump if you feel we should leave the system. Allow me to bring you up to date. Fortunately, the bridge suffered only minor losses. The reports mention only a few casualties that have already been replaced. We lost some of the armory in the auxiliary bays, Lord Captain. The false order sent from the bridge was carried out to the letter. No one even stopped to consider them. It was the ingrained habit of rigorous obedience that led to the disaster. The subsequent explosions obliterated most of the ordnance and service personnel, and also damage the adjacent decks. I guess maybe we should have gone. Kiava Gamma went silent after transmitting the harmful signal. I will refrain from sending inquiries to the industrial world to avoid a second attack. I'm afraid we have exhausted our options for remote analysis. More information can only be obtained by closing the distance or even sending an away party to the planet's surface. Excuse me. The Vox clicks as Heinrichs joins the channel. The time has come to remind you about our agreement, Ignatius. I must be present in your entourage during your expedition to Kiava Gamma. I'm counting on your cooperation. The crew is awaiting further instructions, Lord Captain. We got hostile ships. Alright, let's go to those planets first, then we'll deal with the ships. We got a ton of rumors to deal with, too. The dwarf planet is marked on the Von Valencia's Protectorate chart as Atoll and serves as a backup source of water for the habitable worlds of neighboring systems. Due to the abundance of bacteria proliferating in the Atoll hydrosphere, the extraction of ice was stopped a half-century ago. But much to your officer's surprise, the augurs detect an unidentified mining rig deep underground. Presumably, the excavation is aimed at extracting clay minerals near the planet's core, enriched with iron and other material. Send a scouting party. The extractum turns out to be Incendia Chorda's latest investment, whose Demesne is located just within a few jumps from the Kranich system. While this world is of little value to the Von Valencia's dynasty, your officers see this gesture as an attempt to test boundaries of the newly minted Rouge Trader's leniency. Oh my god, that last one is brutal. Magus Pascal notes the unusual composition of Atoll's core. Subsequent development will allow the extraction of rare refractory metals. Heeding his advice, the Rouge Trader decides to keep the extractum for himself. This better not be plasteel. Your people easily assume control as the frightened workers and the token security crew do not even attempt to resist. The extractive machines are restarted shortly thereafter. The amassed containers filled with precious ore are delivered to the flagship's cargo hold. Look! Plasteel. Lovely. Alright, let's deal with these ships.
I stand ready to serve you and the Imperium, Lord Captain.
Destroyer, destroyer, destroyer. Raider. So we got 5 Chaos vessels. Well, that's kind of cool. Planet there below. I like that. Let's go up and just take this guy. That about does that. Hit is pretty hard. Shields are still holding up, but course, but we can get these ones. Get it? Yep, we got it. All right. That's 2 down. Left. We did a pretty good job. Keep away from them torpedoes. This has been a pretty well done fight here. We've done really well here. I'm a lot smoother than I was expecting it to go. Shooting. Wow, that last shot was amazing. let the torpedoes go ahead and do the job.
A barbaric display. I am surprised we survived.
Some scrap. Ooh, an auger array. Because there's that one planet that we couldn't penetrate the storms. Let's check out our new auger array, possibly, potentially, maybe. So the one we have is a 90% chance to hit with a 5% critical. The other one is an 80% with a 15. I like the one we got, to be honest. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and send you to cargo. All right, and this is probably a good place to give it a call for the night. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe, comment. I have been Sir Joseph. You guys are amazing. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you later.